Welcome back to another installment of the 94 podcast. I'm Brook Edel, joined here with my co-host, Jim Bushy. Jim, how is your week?
It is going good, man. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, thank you. A lot to cover. We got the NFL, we got college football, we got the Heisman, we got the NIL drama. I know we didn't get an opportunity to talk about some of the MLB awards. But yeah, I also just want to say happy Thanksgiving. I know that we last joined right before Thanksgiving, so I'm very thankful for the season. But now we have a lot of holidays in front. We've got Christmas, New Year's. So yeah, just a very grateful time of year. And we get championship week for college football. And then also the NFL playoffs heating up. Vikings are going to be hosting the Atlanta Falcons. Familiar face on the other side, and Kirk Cousins coming to US Bank Stadium. One of the top matchups for this week. But yeah, like it's all coming to fruition. Heisman hopefuls are packing up for New York. So yeah, we got a lot to talk about. Let's first start though with the NFL, but also want to send condolences to Randy Moss, Viking legend, Hall of Fame, wide receiver, all around talent, and just a great human being. Just want to give thoughts and prayers to him and his family. It sounds like he is stepping away from his ESPN duties on NFL Countdown. And appears that his eyes were being discolored, and a couple of audience members were kind of commenting on social media, and he did address it last week. So yeah, definitely Godspeed to Randy Moss. I don't know if you've kind of heard that story, Jim, about Randy Moss.
I mean, I've heard that he was stepping aside. I remember a couple of weeks ago watching Monday Night NFL Sunday Countdown, and you could just see in his eyes they were like yellow, and it was. I just sent him the best. Hopefully, he feels better. Hopefully, he is able to be more healthier, and that's all we want. Doesn't matter who he played for. No one wants to see anyone get sick, hurt, or anything. Hopefully, he gets better.
Amen. Yep. Yeah, like it's a very private matter. He didn't even go into details. He said him and his family are dealing with something internally. So yeah, definitely best wishes to Randy Moss and his family. But NFL, let's talk about Vikings. They're coming off a 5-game winning streak. Two of them now. Two of them things. Now we got 10 wins for the Minnesota Vikings. Um, Maybe we could see a little bit more from this offense because last week against Arizona, it didn't get really jump started until the second half when Arizona took that commanding lead, going up 19-6. So I don't know, like what do the Vikings have to do to avoid a slow start against the Atlanta Falcons? So let's start with that.
Well, first thing they gotta do is move the ball downfield. They can't go three and out. They can't be stopping and starting, stopping and starting drives. They can't rely on penalties. They need to hit the receivers. They just need to be They need to be going down. They need to be. Shoot, what's the word? Oh my goodness! They need to be. It's on the tip of my tongue. Tip of my. I'm sorry.
You said consistent, and you said of like you can't rely on those penalties because
Yeah.
like not every team is gonna gift you penalties like Arizona. I don't know. Arizona was just undisciplined all game. Like there was a holding or a false start that would kind of throw Arizona off, and then they would get down to like the 20, and then they would have like a false start holding whatever type of penalty, kind of just stall that drive. And then same thing on offense. Like I feel like there was a fumble early with Aaron Jones, and then that kind of got in Aaron Jones' head. And just avoiding those turnovers, I think early, and then also getting Justin Jefferson involved early and often. I feel like in the last couple of games, he's been getting a lot of attention. but I feel like T.J. Hawkinson too. Like he's an option. I feel like
Yeah.
um, he's being kind of underutilized. I know he's just getting back from injury, but I feel like a few games in now, I think he played that Chicago game, played Arizona. He was also in Tennessee, so I feel like at this point his legs should be underneath him, and then we should definitely incorporate more of just the intermediate passing. I feel like um, the one thing too that I want to see more is more of the running backs catching the ball. I feel like we underutilize Aaron Jones' ability to catch the football.
Oh, 100%. I think being able to use the running backs to not only run the ball, I mean, they need to hold onto the ball, but to catch the ball, I think Aaron Jones had an easy touchdown that he could have had if he caught the ball. Justin Jefferson, he's been great. Everyone's getting attention, but they need the other receivers. Addison has been being more used more, but you need to get more like Munt. You need to get Oliver. You need to get Hawkinson. They need to start getting involved. You need your third, fourth string receivers to start getting involved. So
Jalen Naylor, right? Brandon Powell. I mean, like you get everybody, get all the
yeah,
weapons going.
because then you take away that, oh, we're just gonna double team these two people too. Okay, who are we gonna double team? Are we gonna double team Jefferson? Are we double team S? And are we gonna leave the tight ends open? Well, what about the running backs? Are we gonna once they can establish the threat of anyone and everyone can be a threat, it will be easier for them to continue their offense going.
I would definitely 100% agree with that. And with the play of Sam Darnold, I feel like defenses are trying to figure him out. In the first half, I feel like Arizona did a really good job of being able to stifle a lot of what Sam Darnold and the offense were trying to do. The one thing too that I think is kind of interesting is like the more that they blitz him, the better he becomes as a quarterback. You know, like his completion rate goes up. He's able to really recognize that defense pre-snap, and being able to really adjust to that pressure. And you know, he was able to scramble a couple of times to get away with would-be sacks. And I think it kind of gets almost like it gets kind of like overlooked. You know, those plays where you extend it and it's just like, you know, maybe like a 4-5 yard pickup, but like it could have been a sack. It could have been like a second and long, but like Sam Darnold is able to turn that into like a 2nd and 4 compared to like 2nd and 14. So definitely want to give credit where credit's due. And I feel like maybe like when Sam Darnold gets a little bit more time, but he has definitely been better in regards to protecting the football in this 5 game winning streak. And that's what we're looking to see on Sunday when Sam Darnold takes on this Atlanta. It's been a very generous defense in regards to the points that they're giving up per game. And I'm also looking at it as this could be a statement game for Sam Darnold going up against Kirk Cousins. I know that's like burying the lead. Kirk Cousins homecoming. I know Kirk is going to be up for this game, and he's coming off possibly one of his worst games as a pro athlete with no touchdowns and 4 interceptions and a pick six in a close loss to the LA Chargers. But nonetheless, you play one of your worst games in front of your home crowd, and now you have the Atlanta Falcons front office potentially thinking maybe we take a look at Michael Penix Jr. And I remember buy sell, I was like, I don't know if that's going to be something that we're going to look at for this year. But with the Falcons 6-6 right now in the NFC South, you can't throw the season away. I mean, the division's there for the taking.
No, not at all. It's that division's tough because you have Atlanta, you have Tampa. Those are your two big. Look at us. Like we're here. We are here to win. And then you go to the Saints, and you go. The Saints in Carolina. they're
Because
the
Carolina's been playing better of late,
oh
right?
100%.
Yeah.
It's glad to see, and I think that's the big. I'm taking a little detour here from Atlanta to go to the Carolina because you gotta give them flowers. I think if they were to sit Bryce Young last year, sit him for the first 5, 6, 7 games, like what the Patriots did with Drake May, he probably would have been able to learn behind Dalton. He was able to learn behind a veteran. So I think after sitting behind a veteran, yeah, Bryce Young can actually play football. He can actually read a defense. He's actually playing very good. He took the Chiefs to the end of the game where they could have won. Carolina could have beat the Chiefs.
Right. Went down to the wire. Right.
So
They-
so that division is just going to get better and better and better. So back on track. Tampa. It's a 2-horse race. It's Tampa versus Atlanta. Last week's loss for Atlanta was terrible. I forget the Tampa Bay score because I went to bed very early in the day because I slept like 16 hours, so that day is a little foggy to me
yeah.
after.
Yeah. That game went to overtime, and yeah, there was. Yeah, it was like I don't know. With Tampa Bay, they've been kind of like a Jekyll and Hyde team too, because like they're the one team that took Kansas City to overtime. So I don't know what it is with the NFC South. They match up really well with the Chiefs apparently. But like yeah, with Tampa Bay, like what they've been. I don't know. They've been definitely on the edge in regards to their overall like performances. I know that Carolina they just survived in overtime. New York unexpected. That's not even like no surprise. I mean they took care of the Giants and
Yeah.
right off the bye. But like when you're looking at what the Bucks have for the rest of the season, and then knowing that Atlanta is coming into Minnesota. Tampa Bay is going to be in LA, so he's going to be going back to SoFi Stadium, and he's very familiar with SoFi Stadium. So Baker Mayfield back in his own home, in his own stomping ground as a professional when he played with the Rams, going up against Justin Herbert. That is going to be a great game. But reeling back into the Vikings and Falcons, realizing what the Vikings have in front of them, Packers and Lions. Great NFC North divisional game. Packers got the short end of the stick. Lions continue that winning streak. They're what was it now? 11 and 1.
11
Oh, no, 12 and 1. 12 and 1, right?
No, 11-1.
11 and 1. Okay, 11 and 1. Okay, I thought they were 12 and 1 because like we're at 10 and 2. So they're 12 and 1.
It could. When do they have their bye? No, I'm pretty sure it's 11-1. No, it's 11-1 because that's 12.
Isn't it week 14?
Week 14. Yeah,
they have their bye.
They have their bye. Oh,
they got to be at 12 and 1. I think last week we almost counted that as a loss when they played the Bears. I mean 2 weeks ago now because the timeouts are not called. Matt Eberflus is no longer employed with the Chicago Bears.
Yes, it's 12-1.
Okay,
12-1. It's like that didn't seem right, but
yeah, I was like, all right, do they have like a second bye? Is this college football? No.
Yeah.
Okay, so the way that we're looking at this though is the Vikings have an opportunity to gain a game on Green Bay, and you want to solidify that. You know that you have one more game against Green Bay, but knowing that you can at least gain that game, and then it would be a tiebreaker if the Packers were to come to US Bank Stadium and defeat the Minnesota Vikings. I know we're getting a little bit ahead of ourselves here, but looking at the Vikings' rest of the schedule, Falcons definitely have to be a must-win if you're considering winning the NFC North or securing the number 1 seed, which is at like 5% right now for the Minnesota Vikings. So it's not likely because Detroit won't lose. Like they continue to win. And credit to to Dan Campbell. We'll talk more about
Yeah.
Dan Campbell later on.
The only way the Vikings will get home field is if they went out, they beat Detroit, and Detroit loses at least 2 more games. So that's we beat them, so we have a tiebreaker. We beat them good, so we get the points, and then we went out and they lose another game. So that's the way I believe the Vikings get home field.
Right. If we went out, we were beating them week 18.
Yeah.
And then that would be like the way that we can secure the division. Because right now Vikings have 3 more home games and 2 more road games.
Mm-hmm.
So I like the math there. You got Atlanta, then you get Chicago. They're going to be a different team now, led by Thomas Brown, the interim head coach, and it was kind of interesting to hear Thomas Brown's quote. He said I was at 225 when I was the offensive when I was named the offensive coordinator because Shane Waldron was let go, and then he said I'm at 203 now as the Bears interim head coach. I'm like, all right, it looks like the promotions are definitely taking a toll on you a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he's grinding. My man's grinding. I didn't know the Bears head coaching job would be a weight loss plan like Ozempic.
Damn, I knew that was the thing. I've been doing that for years now. What the hell? I need to get rid of this gut.
I don't know, right? It's like, hey, just apply, apply on Indeed for the Chicago Bears job. You'll be in shape. No problem. The LBs are just gonna fall
Oh,
off.
100%.
Okay. So now we look at the rest of the schedule at Seattle. That's a tricky game because Seattle is definitely fighting for their playoff lives. They have a must win. They play Arizona this week. So the rest of the NFC is not going to go away quietly. And then you have Green Bay. You have Green Bay week 17. That's going to be a huge game because Green Bay is just going to be scratching and clawing to get back into this race. At the very least, play a spoiler for the Minnesota Vikings. And yeah, with Jordan Love and the way that offense looked on Thursday, that is a scary opposition because I feel like Green Bay is finally clicking together, and they're one of the youngest teams in the NFL. So yeah, definitely for Week 17, definitely want to get the defense to shut that operation down because you cannot be giving up 30+ points like the way that they did last time Jordan Love was at US Bank Stadium. And then obviously Week 18 against the Lions. That's how we wrap up for the Vikings. So getting back to Kirk Cousins. All right, what kind of game do you expect from Kirk Cousins?
I'm expecting Kirk Cousins to go out there and he's going to want to get the win. He's probably going to come in with a chip on his shoulder, be like, hey, you decided to go younger, you decided to get rid of me for something new, and your quarterback isn't here. So here's your backup former quarterback. I want to come in and win, but at the same time, it's I'm not here to. He's not going to come in and be prime time Kirk Cousins. He's going to come in. He's going to be regular Kirk Cousins. He'll probably throw a decent game, 2 touchdowns, 2 picks, but his second pick will be trying to go win the game, and he'll just pick it off. They'll get picked off at the end. The Vikings win it.
Okay, I love it. Yeah, Kirk Cousins, age 36. I mean, hey, at some point, I know the Vikings have to move on from him, and I'm okay with the decision. I know that he's coming in making $12.5 million this year, and then that's only going to balloon to $27.5 next year. And when you think about it, the Vikings, their windows now in regards to having Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, T.J. Hockenson. You went out and you got Aaron Jones. You wouldn't have been able to do that if you brought Kirk Cousins back. No. And then also you drafted J.J. McCarthy for the future. So that's why Kwesi Adolfo-Mensah gets paid the big bucks out for the Minnesota Vikings. And I know Kevin O'Connell had probably seen what he could do, and he maxed everything out with Kirk Cousins. And I think it was definitely a mutual time for us to definitely separate. And with Kirk Cousins coming in, and yeah, he's going to be toting the salary. You got $180 million for 4 years, but okay, you're on a team that's significantly uh, less prepared to win in the playoffs. I know they don't have the same. I mean, like, you got Drake London. That's definitely you're taking that's a poor man's Justin Jefferson.
Yes.
Like, yeah. So and BJ Robinson, yeah, arguably I would give them the edge in the rushing attack with BJ Robinson, Bijan Robinson. Like, and the way that I see it though for Atlanta, like if they're able to quiet the crowd early, like if they're able to get a couple scores, let's say they get up 14, 17 points in the first half, that might be their roadmap to victory. Is just get the crowd, because the crowd is going to be so electric the second the Atlanta Falcons offense touches the field for the first time. And Brian Flores lives for these games. This is a personal matter in regards to Kirk Cousins used to be one of your own, and then now he's the opposition, and he's trying to ruin your season, ruin all your goals of winning the NFC North. So yeah, I think huge game I'm expecting from Jonathan Grenard, huge game from Blake Cashman, to limit whatever Kirk Cousins is looking to do. And I know Kirk is definitely looking to throw at least a couple touchdowns here, because like they are definitely like writing him off a little bit. I feel like with the Michael Penix Jr. buzz right now, this is extra motivation. If like Kirk Cousins doesn't like go out and just like ball, I don't know, maybe he gets even a shorter lease for the rest of the season, because like I know that they're gonna let him at least avenge like what he felt like Minnesota wronged him and not giving him that contract. But I'm really juiced up for this game, because like this is one of those games where you're gonna look back next year and you're gonna be like, this was maybe that moment we realized that we had something special here in Minnesota.
Oh, 100%. Like we are. How do I put this? We are at a point where we're at the top of our window. Our window's open, but it's not like it's just open where you have like 4 or 5 years of, hey, we can win. We're at like maybe 2, 3, 4 years before we have to make that move of, do we start trading people? Do we start drafting? Who do we resign? Because like it or not, it's coming sooner than we think. And every year we want the Vikings to win the playoffs, but we all know that the window is now. We all know the window is here, and it like, I don't know if you noticed this, but after the first half of the Green Bay game, our defense really hasn't been that great as it should be. Now we have good players. We have Ginkle. We have the defensive line is playing good. We have our cornerbacks. They've been playing lights out.
Right, right, lights out. Right.
But you give up yards like you did against Detroit, like you did against Arizona. You take penalties that you don't need to take, and you don't stop them. You don't get 3-and-outs. Opponents are able to get out there, continue and roll and roll and roll. You're not going to win against these good teams. Like Detroit, you can't let them go. Green Bay, we're not playing injured Jordan Love, Malik Willis. We're playing healthy Jordan Love with his receivers. Josh Jacobs has been a beast for Green Bay.
Right.
Chicago, new coach, new offensive coordinator. They look good. They could have won the past couple games if their coach wasn't stupid.
Right, exactly.
See,
not realizing what they can do to stop the clock. Right.
You look at these games coming up, and we're playing Atlanta. That's your possible matchup. You want to go
Right.
out there
Yeah.
and
Preview.
you want to humiliate them. So the next time you go down there, because let's face it, Detroit's gonna get the first overall seed. They deserve it. They've been playing very well. But you want to embarrass the Falcons so bad that when you go to Atlanta, you want to continue to make them feel terrible and shove it down their throats that like, hey, look what happened last time we played you.
Exactly. Right. This definitely like a turning point. I mean, Minnesota is going to be favored by 6 points. I think that is a favorable line going into this game. But like, yeah, like you said, this is that moment of like Kevin O'Connell has to jumpstart everything because if you want to be taken seriously around the league, you have to protect home field. Um, yeah, last week's game was too close for comfort. You know, you win the game. You know, they all count the same. You won the game, bottom line. But I want to see the Vikings finish out strong 4 quarters against the Atlanta Falcons because that's just going to propel for the playoffs because the playoffs are coming up. You got teams like Philadelphia. You got teams like Seattle where if you give them any crack of opportunities, like especially in the second half, like you're not going to win too many playoff games coming up. Yeah, this is going to be a huge battle test for the Vikings to beat a playoff minded team. Like this team is not thinking about next year. This is a team that is fighting for their playoff hopes, looking to win their division. And if they win their division, I don't know. The NFC South is like just wild. Wouldn't this be like I don't know how many consecutive years where they've had like a new division champion in the NFC South. But yeah, that would continue that run because I know Tampa Bay won it last year out of nowhere, and then they were able to host the game, and then they were able to knock out Philadelphia. So you cannot take these NFC South opponents lightly. And looking at the record, oh, they're 6-6. Like we should win this game. No, like you have to approach it as like, hey, this is a playoff preview, like we mentioned, and we have to set the tone for potentially a matchup that's going to come down the road. Okay, so let's look at the rest of the schedules here because I know we spent a lot of time on the Vikings Falcons here, but honestly, I think it's going to be one of those games that I thought maybe it was going to get flexed out to the afternoon slot, but we're cool at noon. We're going to see Kirk Cousins at noon. So, hey, we get the best of Kirk Cousins. So, like, no excuses for the Kirk Cousins rubes that just love Kirk Cousins. So, Kirk O'Chains, you get prime time Kirk Cousins at 12 noon. But looking at the rest of the schedule here, you got Bills, Rams. That's going to be what an interesting game, but like the Rams are kind of just faltering. They're at 6-6, but like, do we really feel like the Rams could beat the Bills? I don't think so. I think the Bills win that game. Bears, 49ers. That's another game where the 49ers are just trying to stay alive, stay relevant. I mean, crushing blow with Christian McCaffrey going down last year. Last week. And it just hasn't been his year this year. Just going back on the IR for a second stint. Chargers, Chiefs. I think this is an underrated game. Like that's going to be the Sunday night game, though.
Is it the Sunday? No, it's yes, it's a Sunday night game. I mean, that definitely will be a fun one. And
Yeah,
you know the Browns Steelers. That's gonna be a fun one.
it's going to be a shootout.
Yeah.
One thing about the Browns, their offense has been unlocked with Jameson Winston and Jerry Jeudy, and Nick Chubb finally playing healthy. The Steelers too with Russell Wilson, George Pickens, Najee Harris. Warren's been able to run really well for them. Jalen Warren, Mike Tomlin got him at 9-3. Like who would have had Steelers as the leader of the AFC North at this time? Not me.
No.
But I'll just be completely honest.
That I think they've been the dark horse this whole year. Like coming into the year, we had like, oh, what's going to be the quarterback situation with Wilson and James? Not Jameson. Justin Fields. They've been able to take that notice and be like, hey, we're actually good, and we're going to prove it to you. And they've shocked everyone, and I think that they can make a probably decent run till maybe they'll win the first game in the wild card. But
Yeah,
yeah,
like yeah, because we've almost like established at this point, Chiefs and Lions are probably going to be the number one seeds for both conferences. I know it's not set in stone yet, but the Steelers, they do play the Chiefs in a couple weeks, so that will be definitely a good matchup to see. That'll be like a good barometer where the Steelers are, but they play a tough nosed Cleveland Browns team that's being coached by Kevin Stefanski, which I think is like two-time NFL Coach of the Year. So Cleveland's going to get up for this game. This is their Super Bowl because they beat Pittsburgh in the Snow Bowl.
yeah.
Remember that?
Oh yeah.
This is their Super Bowl. So like now they get to go to Pittsburgh. They go into the belly of the beast, and at Empower like Heinz Field. Like let's just call it Heinz Field, whatever it's called now. But it's Heinz Field. The Browns are historically just been just awful in regards to going to Pittsburgh and playing these tough division games. But Ben Roethlisberger is not suiting up. It's Russell Wilson. I feel like those demons are done. Like Cleveland has to go into this game knowing that they are the spoiler. Like that is their role the rest of the season. And I know that this is going to be a tough physical game. It's going to be 60 minutes of just pure football cinema. I feel like it's going to be just a great game. I feel like the Browns should almost be flexed to like an afternoon game or some of these Sunday night games could be flexed out to watch some Jameson Winston play and lead the Cleveland Browns because you know that he's going to give 110% every single game.
I mean, they even though they haven't had the best record, they've been fun to watch. And so it's not like you're flexing this game to be like game of the week. You're flexing this game to have an entertaining game go on because, like you said, the snowball game was a fun game. It was so much fun. Like, I think that's what a lot of people are when they look at this matchup. Like, oh, it's Pittsburgh versus Cleveland. Cleveland stinks. It's just a fun game to watch.
Exactly, and like I know like the AFC North is like having like the ongoing like hard knocks. So like that also kind of like plays into it. But like yeah, it's just gonna be a fun game to watch just because like both teams like throw the records out in a divisional game. But both teams match up really well against each other. Other games that I know I'm gonna definitely be at least keeping an eye on Seahawks Cardinals. Like, how are the Cardinals going to bounce back after dropping a heartbreaker against Minnesota, against Seattle?
It's gonna be tough because it's twice now that they dropped two important games. They lost to Seattle 2 weeks ago, then they lost to Minnesota. So this is gonna be tough. I think they could still pull it off if they beat Seattle. It's gonna be a good series split. I think if depending on points, they could actually take the lead. That division's wide open for anyone to take. So it's just a wait and see type of game, but it should be a fun, good one.
Absolutely, yeah. The NFC West is wide open. And I know the 49ers fans are going to be definitely paying attention to that and rooting for the Cardinals to knock off the Seahawks to kind of slow them down. Yeah, and looking at the 49ers Bears, this is going to be, I think, another like sneaky game where you just throw the records out and you just watch the game. I feel like you're going to be entertained. You get to see Caleb Williams, so the number one overall pick, going up against Mr. Irrelevant and Brock Purdy. And Brock Purdy is trying to get that bag. And, I'm always rooting for somebody to get paid. But I feel like what we've realized is Brock Purdy is a game manager. I don't know, a lot of people don't like when I'm saying that, but like he's a game manager for the fact that he doesn't make the pieces around him better. I feel like you have to really surround him with all the pieces. to really see his game elevate. But with Caleb Williams, I feel like his game has definitely been elevating the play of DJ Moore, DeAndre Swift. We're also seeing the resurgence of Keenan Allen. But what is going to come down to this? I feel like this is going to be like how the defenses are able to really limit. Because I feel like this is going to be a shootout if both these offenses are able to get in stride. Because I feel like with the 49ers, with Isaac Garando, they're probably going to run the crap out of the ball and just see if this Bears defense can stop the rush. And, with the offensive line that San Francisco has, I'm sure that's going to be like a matchup to watch. And with the Bears, I feel like they're going to just let Caleb Williams try to dissect this offense. Dissect this defense, because what they saw with Josh Allen being able to do in Buffalo, I feel like they're going to try to replicate that and let Caleb Williams just have a day. So this is going to be a fun game. Yeah. And what are your thoughts in regards to Brock Purdy? Do you think Brock Purdy is going to get the bag? Because I know like San Francisco is trying to keep that Super Bowl window open.
He will get paid. He will get paid well. I think this has just been an off year for fucking him. He's been hurt. He's been out. He lost all his weapons. So just give him, like, he's probably not gonna get paid a lot that everyone thinks he's gonna pay. I would give him a 2 year with a decent bag, and then be like, hey, we're just doing this so you can get better. And once you get better, we're going to give you all that you want.
I think what we're possibly looking at is like similar to like a Jordan Love contract. Like if you're Brock Purdy's people, that's what you're aiming for. You're trying to get $55 million a year, and 4 years for $220 million. But I don't know if he's going to get that. But to get back to it, like John Lynch has to look at this and realize, all right, what's the nucleus going to look like? Because like if we pay Brock what he wants, we're probably not going to be able to bring back everybody. So that is definitely going to be interesting to kind of see in the offseason. But I know 49ers right now, they're just trying to stay alive, because like 5-7, you're almost eliminated at that point.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, yeah. So all right, rest of the matchups. We got I think this might be like one of those games where you just don't expect it to be any good, but I think it could be some type of entertainment value. Bengals Cowboys on Monday night.
That should be fun. That's the I think they're doing the Simpson game, and I'm excited to see how that goes.
I think it's Bart is for the Bengals and Homer is the Cowboys. The Joe Burrow. We were expecting Joe Burrow and Dak Prescott for this matchup. So we got Joe Burrow and Cooper Rush.
Yes.
It doesn't have the same like blockbuster feel to it.
No, but
you still get Jamar Chase. You still get T Higgins, CD Lamb. You get Micah Parsons. So you do get some stars. You get some star power in it. But I don't know, with the way that Cincinnati is playing, like they could lose this game, and Dallas would be at 6-7, and Micah Parsons, I think after Thanksgiving is like, hey, we can go on a run, and we could somehow try to catch Washington. I don't know if they're going to catch Washington for that last playoff spot. That is going to come back down to like, is Jaden Daniels. I know with the Commanders, they're off this week. They finally get a bye. But like, I don't know. Do you see Dallas somehow getting back in this playoff race?
No, I don't. As much as they're getting paid, no. I think Cooper Rush is. I mean, he's a decent quarterback. He's a good backup, but he's not your starting quarterback. You got to give Trey Lance a try. I remember he never had a chance to start So you just got to give him a shot. I don't think they get back in. I think that NFC East is just too good. They'll come in as a third seed. Giants are not going to be that good. I think it's going to be Eagles, Commanders, and that's your 1, 2, 3, and 4 right there for that seed. The division's just stacked.
Yeah, no, absolutely. The division is just stacked. And yeah, with Dallas, that's kind of like a head scratcher. You trade for Trey Lance from San Francisco, and you still haven't really got an opportunity to see him in like an extended look. Like, yeah, you want to see if you can try to squeak out. I mean, like let's say for Dallas, they win, they get Carolina next week. After that, the Cowboys, who they end up playing. They play the Buccaneers. At that point, I feel like if you're able to beat the Bucks, then some people will be like, all right, they actually have a chance. But I mean, do you really think that Cooper Rush is going to be somebody that you're going to have long term, or you might as well see what you got because then you got the Eagles week 17, and then to end the season, you play the Washington Commanders, which it, like we're not like predicting anything here, but like if that was to come down to it, who would you rather have as quarterback, Trey Lance or Cooper Rush? If it came down to it, I want to see what Trey Lance has to offer. Like, I mean, he got drafted top 5 by San Francisco for a reason. And yeah, I don't know. Like with Dallas, there's always questions in regards to what direction that they're taking, and I feel with as long as Jerry Jones is in charge, I think Dallas is always going to be in the same holding pattern where you think that they have the team, but like they don't make the right moves. Again, they could have gone out and got Derrick Henry. They could have leaned on Derrick Henry a little bit more, especially with Dak going down. But yeah, that's another conversation for another day. So looking at the other matchups here, I think with the NFL right now, you have a couple MVP candidates. I think it's Saquon Barkley and Josh Allen. I don't know. I don't know anybody else that really comes to mind.
It it's gonna be tough because who can tell if like those guys are the best of the best. I think they believe. I think Saquon actually can win this one. I really do think he can.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, like what Saquon has been able to do, like the string of games. I mean, obviously he took over in the second half against Baltimore. In just one of the better games last week. Yeah, like Eagles, Panthers, and then Bills versus the Rams. So it's going to be basically the rest of the season. I feel it's just going to be like, can Josh Allen outplay Saquon? Can Saquon outplay Josh Allen? But okay, enough NFL. Let's switch it to college football. College football playoff championship. Right now, we got a couple of games in play. We got Arizona State, Iowa State, and Iowa State was your dark horse. Iowa State's hanging tough right now, down a touchdown in the second quarter. What were your thoughts on the college football playoff and also the championship week?
I love it. You gotta love college playoff week. It's the best of the best teams to get in, and it's gonna be fun. It's so much fun. It's the best time, and I think Iowa can come back. I mean, they're only down by a touchdown, so anything's possible.
A lot of football left in that game. And then we got Georgia, Texas, Clemson, SMU. I feel like Georgia, Texas, like that's a foregone conclusion. Both teams are going to be in the playoff. Clemson, SMU, though, there's a little bit more skin in the game. I feel like SMU is fighting for their playoff hopes. And Penn State, Oregon, again, those two teams are already like they're in there, like 1-3. Both teams are going to make it to the playoff. And I know that there's a lot of talk right now. Is is a blue blood like Alabama going to get in with 3 losses? And I feel like that
That's
would just, yeah, it's going to have people lose their mind. Is it good for the sport?
no. I think you need the best of the best, and I don't think that's that.
Exactly. Like, sorry to Alabama fans, but like, I don't think I don't think they're a playoff team this year. And looking at like the college football playoff, I know that they're going to be announcing it here very soon. I know that it's just been like a huge like build up throughout the season. And what we're kind of also understanding is Boise State is going to be in that playoff, and that's pretty cool. They're going to be a top 4 seed. They're going to get a bye. Uh, Ashton Genty, Heisman hopeful. They took care of UNLV, and we were talking about UNLV having a little bit of NIL drama, and then that kind of bit them in the butt because they could have had their starting quarterback, and UNLV kind of, they weren't able to manufacture enough points. Boise State was able to take care of the Rebels 21-7. Early on this weekend. So Boise State is going to be in the playoff. What do you think of Boise State and their chances to advance?
I mean, they play to get in. They can have a chance. It's sports. Anything can happen. Anything can happen. So I mean, I would like to see them advance. To see an underdog go through, because that's the best part. Everyone roots for an underdog. No, it's gonna be fun. I would love to see Boise State to go through. I love to see everything happen. So who knows?
Exactly. Like, yeah, it's up in the air. It's going to be exciting. Okay, so the rest of the matchups that we're keeping an eye on for college football. I mean, right now you got Ohio and Miami, Ohio. Okay, that's for the MAC championship. That's not going to be any playoff implications, but Ohio is in front by 10, 13-3. But we do have Georgia, Texas kicking off at 3 p.m. That is going to be just a fun game. I feel like a fun game. Kirby Smart going up against Steve Sarkisian. It was that I think it was middle of October. I remember watching this in my hotel room in Arizona. I was watching this game, and remember when all the beer cans started raining from the stands because they didn't like the call. They were like, no, Texas got wronged, and then we're going to go ahead and just start littering the stadium. That is going to be the atmosphere for the SEC championship game. And I love that. For Texas being there for their first year in the SEC, and they made it all the way to the SEC championship game. Granted, it's going to be basically like a home game for Georgia, and there's a little drama too with the mascot. They banned Bevo. They didn't let Bevo. They didn't let him in. Like, what?
You always want to see that video again of Bevo attacking Uga, but no, we don't want to see that.
They got history. They got history.
But at the end of the day, I mean, rules are. I think they just couldn't. They didn't have a big pen for the indoor. We all know it's. But whatever.
They have rodeos inside these stadiums. Like,
yes, yeah. So it should be a good game. I hope Texas could beat Georgia. I don't think Georgia. I mean, it's gonna be a great game. It's just a wait and see type deal. I mean, both teams are great. Both teams are coming in, but I'm gonna go Texas over Georgia today.
Okay. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna stick with Georgia. I just feel like Georgia definitely has the matchup, and then also it being in Atlanta, I think that helps. Yeah, in watching the chess match between the coaches is going to be just phenomenal this afternoon. Because Kirby Smart was able to he was able to figure out this Texas offense, because this Texas offense is very conservative, but they could still make those big plays. But like they were able to take away that screen game that Texas loves to run, So that'll be interesting to see like how Georgia and Texas, especially now that Texas has that on film, on what Georgia likes to do against their offense. See what type of you know plays that Texas can make to come out on top. But that would be a historic run for Texas to go in and then take out Georgia, because I know there was some you know there was a couple of people that were saying like, hey, like once Texas gets in the SEC, they're gonna get their teeth kicked in. But so far, they're the ones that have been kicking teeth in. So this will definitely be one for the books, and I'm so juiced up for another SEC classic. Um, but yeah, I got Georgia in this game, just for the record. And then Clemson SMU. That's going to be for the ACC championship game. What a story for SMU, the Ponies, the Pony Express, going up against Davo Sweetie. Oh my God. Everybody was so quick to write off Clemson after their week one just meltdown against Georgia. But Clemson's definitely fought back, and they're 9-3. They're going up against SMU for the ACC championship, and Clemson could do the most hilarious thing here, and they can knock off SMU, and they could be pounding the table and saying we should be in the playoff.
Oh, I mean, oh my gosh, it's so much great stuff. I'm ecstatic. This is the best part. This championship, we want in. We want in. We want in. Why is a team that's not even playing for a championship in this playoff bracket? We need to be in here. Come on, guys. We're here. We're banging on the door. Let us in. Let us in. Let us in. Come on. We could beat this team. We could beat anyone.
Come on,
Come on.
win your damn games.
Win
Come
your
on.
damn games.
Okay, and one team that has been winning their damn games is Oregon. Oregon has won all of their games. The Oregon Duck is 12-0, and they play Penn State for the Big Ten championship game. Yeah, like again, another team in their first year in their new conference, and they've been just elite. The number one and number two, both teams, and also we're talking about SMU. That's been like a running trend here. Is all of these teams their first year in their new conference? They're in their championship game. I don't know, man. Like I'm same thing with Arizona State. I mean, like all these teams in their first year in their new conference, they're in the championship game, and we could definitely see a sweep of all those teams. But with Penn State, Oregon, what are your thoughts? I feel like this game is going to be nip tuck, as like all their games have been.
It could be a trap game. Like everyone might be picking a favorite to win. It could be a trap. Penn State could come out there and shock the whole world and be able to get the W, get the win, and surprise the whole thing. It could happen. I just had this weird feeling it could be a trap game going on.
Absolutely. Right now, Penn State is everybody's in the matchup predictor. Got them at 53.5. Like everybody's going Penn State, and Oregon's at 46.5. Yeah, this is definitely can be evaluated as a trap game. Penn State, they got Singleton running the ball. They also have Warren. Tyler Warren is kind of like their Swiss Army knife in regards to what Penn State likes to do. And then they got their quarterback in Drew Allar going up against the Heisman hopeful and Dylan Gabriel for the Ducks, and then also their wide receiver Hez Johnson. So a lot of stars on both sides. And I'm thinking that Penn State is going to be like, hey, no one respects us, like, and they have to go in there thinking like, hey, we're here, we're number 3, but we're not getting any type of love going into this game. So at Lucas Oil Stadium, the home of the Colts, I think Penn State's going to travel well. I'm not saying that Oregon's not going to travel well, but like you're pretty close to Indiana, so I feel like a lot of Penn State fans are going to fill up. And last time, this is a fun fact, Penn State was in the Big Ten championship 2016. They did win it. So
Can history repeat itself?
yeah, history might repeat itself here. Okay, so Heisman's. And we did briefly touch on Heisman's here. We got Heisman hopefuls. We got Travis Hunter, who is a favorite. We have Ashton Genty. We did talk about him. Dylan Gabriel and Shadir Sanders, and also I think Cam Ward for Miami. Who do you think is going to win, or who do you think should win? Let's start there.
I don't think Sanders. I don't think Ward will win. I think those two are really just like dark horses. Who'd you say were the other people again?
The other people are Dylan Gabriel, Ashton Genty, Travis Hunter.
That's tough because they're all pretty good players. Like, don't get me wrong, Sanders and Ward are great athletes. They're great players. It's just it's a toss up really between those three. I don't think there's been a clear cut of who is there in my opinion. So it's gonna be tough. I don't think I could pick. I don't think I could pick one. I think it's gonna be tough because it's not that like, oh my goodness, he is the clear cut. There's no,
Right.
yeah. So it's a tough one for me.
Yeah, and I know we talked about Ashton Genty. Like he went over his 2,000 yard benchmark, so he gets to keep his locks.
Yes.
But now, like at the end of the season, I mean, like he did run for another like 200 plus yards. So that will be hilarious. So like I guess maybe at the end of the season,
Yeah.
the offensive lineman is gonna get that tattoo on him. So like all those yards. So run, Ashton, run.
Run, Ashton, run.
Yeah. Um. Yeah. Like I don't know. Like yeah. Like Travis Hunter has definitely give us something that we've never really seen up close with the ability of him playing that high level of the snap count. Will he be able to keep that up on the NFL level? That will be to be determined. But like again, it's between him and Ashton Genty for me. Like yeah, Dylan Gabriel, yes, you did a great job. Manning the Oregon Ducks to an undefeated regular season. But like I feel like he doesn't jump out as much as the other two. So yeah, like but if I was to give it to somebody, it would be Travis Hunter, just for the fact that like it is you're looking at what he's done and how uncommon it is. Like I don't think we're gonna see that next year. I don't think we're gonna see that for like the next like maybe like 5 to 10 years, maybe 20 years. And because I think what could be the result of this is that more players. I think he might have made that impact on these young players that are watching Travis Hunter right now that want to go ahead and then they want to be elite at both levels. But regardless, it should be a fun Heisman race to follow. The NIL drama, like to wrap up college football here. NIL drama, like there's going to be these 5th and 6th year seniors that are going to be returning, and there's going to be these freshmen, or you could basically say rookies, they're going to be getting $5 million to $10 million. For example, Bryce, I think it was is it Bryce Underwood? He's going to be signing with Michigan, and he kind of flipped. He went from Michigan, flipped to LSU, then he flipped back to Michigan, and he got more money with Michigan. But like that's always going to be like the locker room talk. I feel like moving forward for some of these players that like were I guess 5th or 6th year seniors because of COVID. They're going to be coming back for their last year of eligibility, and then these freshmen are going to come in. They're getting $5-10 million. How do you handle that if you're a college head coach?
It's gonna be tough. I mean, you're talking about a senior who's played at a team for so long. He was finally able to get money, and then you just see these kids walk on, and they're already getting millions and millions of dollars. Well, guess what? They're gonna have a problem with them. Like I've been here putting work in blood, sweat, and tears. I had to commit here. When I started, I didn't get paid. I came here with a scholarship, and now all of a sudden you're just gonna you have no you have no loyalty. You have loyalty to money. So I why would I try to get to know you if I know that you're just going to go to a place for money? And it just ruins locker room chemistry.
I would agree with that. I feel like, yeah, the college has turned into a professional sport now. Like
Yeah.
let's just realize that's I think everything is being more reactionary right now because like yeah, once we realize that these college kids are going to get money, not all the college players are going to get paid the same. Like it's going to be talent based. It's going to be on what you can do for the program. Are you going to bring more eyeballs? Are you going to bring more butts in the seats? That's what it equates to. If you're not, I feel like if you're a head coach in this, um, I guess this coaching era, you have to get prepared for that. You have to realize, hey, we're bringing in freshmen, we're recruiting freshmen, and we're going to be using dollars to bring in the talent. It's not just going to be walking in to a living room and recruiting. Like, and I feel like that's why Nick Saban got out because he realized that those days are over.
Yeah.
It's whoever can get that pocketbook open the fastest and be able to get that ink to dry the quickest
Yeah.
is going to be the one that they're going to land the most talent. Um, and we've seen that with Michigan, with Oregon. I know they've kind of made it a little bit more like, I guess, broadcasted that they're willing to pay, you know, all the coin to get their players. So it like that's what it's going to come back to is just like, is your university willing to pay for the talent? But that's the
That's
NIL. That's the Pandora's box that has been open.
it's been open and it will never be shut now.
Never be shut now.
And it's
Yep.
just a way of like it's now it's like you have to make millions. Your school needs to make millions and millions of dollars just to even compete. And it's not like there's a pool that helps smaller schools be competitive. And now it's just like, okay, you have I don't know what's a small. What's the worst? What's the smallest D1 school that has D1 football?
Um. Okay. Let's say. Uh. Isn't a. Okay. Let's just throw a team out. Okay. Let's throw Ohio. Let's
Ohio,
just throw Ohio. Yeah.
Ohio State, or just Ohio the other
Ohio Bobcats. Yeah.
Bobcats. Yeah. Okay, so you take Ohio Bobcats and you take Ohio State. There's no pool there that gives Ohio like a fair competitive chance. Now they could get lucky and the kid wants to go there, but kids are going to want to get that money and they're going to go where the money is. They're going to go to the Alabamas, Ohio, Michigan. Hell, the people are going to go to Hawaii because it's Hawaii and you get paid to go
It's your
to.
destination.
Yeah.
Right. You're gonna go to Miami. You're not going to Miami, Ohio. You're going to Miami because of the destination and what you're able to acquire in regards to convertibles and bikinis. Like you that is going to be the set. And yeah, with the NIL is definitely it switched it up in regards to like the grassroots approach of what the college football, I guess, what it meant, I guess, in regards to like building that culture. But yeah, it's always developing. This NIL story is always developing, and you're learning new things because UNLV, we never heard a story like that in regards to like promising a player a certain amount, but then you never end up paying him, and then he ends up leaving, and you lose an opportunity to go to college football playoff. Like that also gets thrown into question as like some of these universities are trying to maybe like not they're trying to revert back to college football pre NIL, and you can't do that.
No.
Like you gotta pay these players. Otherwise, you're gonna have that NIL drama. Okay, so enough about NIL. This is gonna be a reoccurring topic. It's not gonna go away. So the NBA. A couple notes. Timberwolves are actually playing not halfway decent, like not halfway bad. I mean, like they were struggling. They beat the Golden State Warriors. Right now, their standings in the playoffs. Right now, they would be in the play-in game. And I know it's super early. They're 12-10. Have you been watching any of the NBA? I know it's so early. It's like what 22 games in.
It's tough to like. I, it's tough to watch the NBA, especially this early, because things change. Like once you get past Christmas, once you get past the New Year, then like okay, now you're in the dog days of it. Now like teams will start making pushes. I have never been personally been a big fan of the NBA just because of load management and just to me it's just like you go back and forth, and it's like time. It's a whole another rabbit hole we could go down under. Like I'll watch it. Not my preferred sport, but I will watch it. But
Okay.
it's same like
Yeah.
it's same like hockey. Like it's too early. It's too early to worry about standings. It's too early to worry about like your stats. It's too early for that. Like unless like once you get past the new year, then it's like okay, let's start paying attention. Let's watch this. And honestly, I think the in-season tournament kind of stupid. Like you're trying to make the season more entertaining, but it's already grueling on the players. And now you're just like, everyone gets $1 million. Like, okay, they're already millionaires. They don't care about $1 million.
That's debatable in regards to like some people are just money motivated. So like that could be like their driving force, especially if they play for a team that is not going to be in the playoffs. Let's say, for example, like the Detroit Pistons, they make it to the NBA season, like in season playoff or like end season tournament. That might be worth it to them because they actually play meaningful basketball where they can achieve something beyond just like their salary. Like because I know every single game they're getting their salary to play and hoop and ball out. But I feel like if they're able to be like in an in season tournament, I think that might mean a little bit more to them compared to somebody that's on the Boston Celtics. Like they're looking to repeat as NBA champions.
Yeah.
For,
Doesn't
for actually going to the finals and winning the finals, right?
doesn't the
Yeah, like,
winner of that get an automatic bid into the playoffs?
no,
Really?
surprisingly not.
I'm
No, like because the LA Lakers they did win it last year, but they didn't have the automatic bid. They actually had to play in the play-in tournament, so they were able to. I think they took out the New Orleans Pelicans, and then they ended up playing the Denver Nuggets, and then they lost in the first round.
Yeah.
But like, still, it's not like an automatic bid. I think that could be like maybe a wrinkle that could motivate more people to kind of tune in. Is like you're automatically in the playoffs, like
That's like a wild
because like
card.
you yeah as a wild card, like you're not gonna be like a top seed, but like you're in there as a wild card or you're at least in the play-in tournament. Like
Yes.
I think that should be the wrinkle. Like you get at least a berth in the play-in tournament, right?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I like that. Like on the fly, I think that's a good idea that definitely could be implemented. Okay, now shifting because like that's going to be in Vegas, and I think that's a cool thing that they're doing is trying to involve Vegas to like bring more eyeballs to the sport, especially since this is kind of more like a Premier League play by the NBA of just having like an in-season tournament, a Champions League of having like all the teams go into a tournament before your actual like final like tournament for the season. But like going to the NHL right now. I know that we talked about what it's supposed to look like for the teams after Thanksgiving. This is when you realize the teams that are going to be actually like fighting for the cup. And it's kind of crazy to think like, April will be here before we know it. And we'll be talking about the start of the Stanley Cup playoffs, which is my favorite brand of hockey is playoff hockey. So Minnesota, 22 games in. Talking about another Minnesota team, but the Minnesota Wild, after 26 games played, they're at 18-4-4, and they sit atop of the Western Conference with 40 points. Your reactions, your thoughts in regards to how the Wild are looking, and we also talk about your New York Rangers. How are your New York Rangers looking like?
We're not talking about the Rangers because they've been just what the hell's going on, and I know I accidentally swore earlier, but no, if I talk about the Rangers too much, I will be dropping f bombs left, right,
Okay.
center, down the middle, down the right, bar down, bar in.
Right, right.
No, no, they
Yep,
just pissed me off right now.
yep, right. It would be very colorful language. Oh,
Yes.
gotcha.
Minnesota, on the other hand, they're playing with dead cap. I think it's like one. I forget how much dead cap they have from buyouts, and they're playing very well. So I expect them to continue being good. Maybe drop out of the first spot. They'll make the playoffs again, and to do what they're doing with the limited cap space, I think they are doing well. I mean, that's every time you buy someone out, it's always the worry about, hey, like, are we going to be able to compete now with this dead cap on our roster?
Exactly. And with Kirill Kaprizov leading the way for the Minnesota Wild with 42 points, 17 goals, and 25 assists, is he in contention for possibly winning the MVP?
That's the tough part. Is he could be. You have Connor McDavid. You have Kachuk. You have McCarr, McKinnon, like all these other people.
Yeah.
It's tough. He could be in the race. He definitely could be. It's just we have to see how the regular season go, and like you already have favorites of everyone, so it's going to be tough. But he has a chance.
Okay. Okay. That's fair. That's fair. Um, yeah, and I know that the, the Wild just coming off a huge win against the Ducks to start the weekend. They got a huge tilt tonight against the LA Kings. And then I don't know. Have you been paying attention to Utah? What is this? Is this the Utah Hockey Club? Are
Utah
you
hockey.
kidding me?
Okay,
Utah Hockey Club? Oh my god!
so this is the first year of
Where's the
existence.
creativity?
Well, no, so this is the first year of existence. They were the Arizona / Phoenix Coyotes. That whole
Yeah,
situation was a mess. They moved to Utah, and I think next year they'll actually have like an identity. I think for the first year they just wanted to be the hockey club, but like, jeez, like why?
Jesus.
That's just a pigeon toss right there. My goodness.
Right. Oh, wow. It couldn't be like the Utah Salt something. Like I don't know. Like,
Utah
but I guess
Yetis.
yeah, the Yeti something. Like I thought that it would have at least identity, but like, I guess they're going no identity. They're the Utah Hockey Club, so that's who the Minnesota Wild will be playing on December 10th coming up. So yeah, let's go hockey and let's go Wild.
Oh my goodness. Oh, did you see that story I sent you about the NHL analyst slash enforcer that got into a fight in Glendale, Arizona? Or did you hear something about it?
Oh, okay. Did you send that? I think was that on Instagram or did you send that via text?
Via text, like Twitter or something. If not, I can find it and send it to you.
Yeah, go ahead and send that. But yeah, you can go ahead and expand on that. That's pretty interesting. So you got into a fight in
No,
Tempe, Arizona.
yeah. So Paul Bissonnette, he's an ex NHL enforcer. Now is a hockey analyst. He's hilarious. He's one of the reasons why I
Yeah.
watch TNT hockey. He went to a restaurant and he goes there all the time. He knows the staff, and these people were there harassing the staff. So no one did anything. So he stepped up, and he basically the manager was trying to get the people to leave. They wouldn't leave. Bizinet got involved, and a fight broke out, and he fought 6 guys at once. And it's big. Yeah, it is big news, and the story just continues to ongoing. If I could, I'll find it after the podcast, and I'll
Okay,
send it to you.
so we fought 6 guys at once. Okay, gotcha. And like the news has gone viral at this
Yes.
point. Like, okay.
And
And
Yeah,
Okay,
and
I'll follow.
the 6 people got arrested. Bissonnette did not, because it was wild altercation, and like, it was wild. And you know what? We need more people who step up for people being a-holes to people. Because
I agree.
yeah,
I agree with that. Like, yeah, definitely want to promote people that are actually going to stand up for people that are getting mistreated at work, especially in the service industry. Want to make sure that they're taken care of because it's a hard job as it is. But like on top of it, when you're getting a-holes that are making your job even more difficult, yeah. So that is a wild story. That's a wild story.
yes,
Yeah, we'll definitely take that offline. But yeah, like that is definitely insane. It's insane. Okay, so to kind of wrap up the hockey talk here, um, what are I guess like are you looking forward to the January 1st? I think they always have that
Winter Classic.
winter classic. Yeah,
It's
yeah.
it's it's always fun. I think I remember going to the second one ever in Boston. It lost its value when they started doing outdoor games more than just the ones. They lost the touch. It's fun. It's a fun thing to watch. I'm more interested in the Four Nations tournament. Now they're having Four Nations: U.S., Canada, Sweden, Finland in a tournament, and they're taking out the All Star game, which is probably like the best thing because the players, they don't care about All Star games. They want best on best, and we're getting it, and it's not an International Ice Hockey Federation sanction. It's the NHL, so it's gonna be fun. I can't wait for that to happen.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, like no, that's definitely like a step in the right direction. Like get rid of these games where the players are not actually they don't care. Like they're just there to collect a check and they just want to move on. Because they're focused on the second half of the season at that point. Okay. Um, yeah, but real quick, I know it was a few weeks ago, but like the MLB awards. Aaron Judge, Shohei Ohtani, MVPs. No big surprise there. And then you also had the Cy Young winners with Tariq Skubal of the Detroit Tigers and Chris Sale. Um, what a story about Chris Sale, though, in regards to coming back and winning the Cy Young. Um, that's amazing. In regards to coming off of Tommy John surgery.
Oh yeah, it's awesome to see him come back. It's awesome. It's always a great comeback story. Now I wish he did it for the Red Sox, but it is what it is. I mean, he was always hurt for the Red Sox. He was always hurt. He had his good years, then he got hurt, and sad to see him go. But I'm glad he was able to bounce back this year.
Yeah, shout out to Chris Sale with the Atlanta Braves. And he did win a World Series though, right? With Boston,
He did, yes, back in 2018.
2018. Okay. You're probably not a big fan of this guy. Was it Luis Gill from New York
Luis Gil.
Yankees? He won the Rookie of the Year. And then Paul Skeens won Rookie of the Year for the Pittsburgh Pirates. Yeah, that's some interesting. I guess like awards that were kind of listed out. And I don't know, Paul Skeens like made the All Star game. He started the All Star game. Like, is this just turning into like who's the biggest celebrity? I guess in like some of these awards.
Excuse me. I mean, don't get me wrong. Paul Skeens is a great pitcher. Paul Skeens is someone who probably is going to go far. He's probably the way Pittsburgh's going. Once his contract's done, he's going to want to get out because they're cheap in Pittsburgh, and they're not. I really want to see them win. I really want to see Skeens win with Pittsburgh, but he's going to get snatched up right away, and it's just going to be tough. But
I think breaking news. I think the Los Angeles Dodgers just submitted a trade for Paul Skeens.
breaking news: LA Dodgers become the LA Yankees.
Right, exactly. They're turning into the West Coast Yankees.
Yes.
I don't. Yeah, okay. I think Stephen Vogt, and then Pat Murphy for the manager of the years for both AL and NL respects. But kind of looking back at it, the overall MLB season, what a season by the LA Dodgers, and they're just looking to reload. I feel like teams. I mean, they just what didn't they just acquire Blake Snell, like
Yeah.
from San Francisco? So it's like, what's going on? I feel like my Cubs need to do something. Like I know they got Shada, and then that was a great pickup. Why are we not going out and getting more of these like talented pitchers? Because I feel like if you don't compete with these teams are going to be in the World Series year after year.
Yeah, it's just gonna be tough. The thing is, though, only reason why the Dodgers are able to do this is because everyone has taken a team-friendly deal. That's how they've been able to stay under the salary caps. That's how they've been able to stay, not get penalized. That's how they're able to do everything. And like we all see the Otani contract as an example. Yeah, he's getting paid 400 something million, 700 something million. He's only getting paid $1 million for the first 6 years of the contract, and then he gets backloaded. And by the time they start backloading, they could trade him to another team and dump all that salary. It's everyone wants to go to LA, and they're all taking team friendly deals so they can afford everyone.
Right. Exactly. I'm glad that you mentioned that. They're taking the team friendly deals because they realize that that's the only way that they're going to be able to afford everybody. And they realize you're going to be in LA. It's a huge market. You're going to get your money. Like there's going to be partnerships and sponsorships that want to attach to you because you play for the LA Dodgers. Um, a couple of notable free agents for the MLB season. Then we'll wrap the show here. What do you think of Juan Soto? Where do you think Juan Soto ends up? I feel like that is kind of like he's going to be one of the main people. Like he's going to set the tone. I feel like in regards to like the rest of the offseason on where the rest of the chips will fall.
Okay, well, Brook, please be Boston. 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 I would love
You can
to
do the most hilarious thing, right?
go to Boston. I think it was Boston, New York Mets, New York. Excuse me, New
New
York
York
Mets,
Mets,
New York
yeah,
Yankees, Boston,
New York
and
Yankees,
two other
Boston.
teams.
Was he considering? Was,
It. Oh my.
was he was he considering Atlanta or Houston?
Yeah. God, I don't remember. But it is. It is just. All I know is he's gonna get paid, and he's gonna be a long contract, and it's going to be. It's gonna be crazy this season. So I'm just fingers crossed. Everything is everything is good. So
Yep.
hopefully.
Yep. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. With Juan Soto, he's got 14.2 WAR, and he just declined that offer. So the Yankees are definitely on the hook in regards to how do we keep him? And
Yeah.
because like I know Yankees fans after what they just saw in that World Series, they're not just impressed with just having Aaron Judge. They want to make sure that they keep Juan Soto in pinstripes. But yeah, we will continue to monitor the situation. The hot stove, and I know it's a little early to talk MLB, but here at the 94 podcast, we're making sure that we keep an eye on all the happenings in sport. Um, and definitely looking forward to reconnecting next week here on the 94 podcast. Enjoy the games. It's going to be so much fun to watch the rest of championship week. Clemson, SMU, real quick. Who's your winner in that game?
SMU. Oops. I'm just gonna go
Yep.
SMU.
Yeah, I go on SMU as well. And then we already covered Georgia, Texas. You have Texas. I have Georgia. And then for the Big Ten, I don't think we covered that. Penn State, Oregon.
I'm gonna go Penn State. Penn State's gonna upset Oregon.
Okay. Yeah, I'm going Nittany Lions as well in Penn State. Yeah, like a lot of great games, and the NFL Vikings Falcons.
Goal.
That's right. That's right. Kirk, love you but hate you at the same time. I got to go with the Vikings to take care of the Falcons, and then also uh, Dan Campbell. Does he win Coach of the Year?
With the
Like,
cojones
did
he
he
has,
just secure it?
yes. With the
I
cojones
think
he
he
has,
secured.
yes.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, okay. But yeah, this has been the 94 podcast, and we'll see you at the
T O
TOP,
P.
and we're
We're
out.
out.